Hello everyone and welcome to Stratus Bytes, the only series of videos that explain networking concepts and technologies in less than 8 minutes. My name is Victor. Let's get started. Today we're going to be talking about PoE budgeting. PoE stands for Power over Ethernet, and it's a very cool technology that allows us to power devices using the same Ethernet cables that we use to transmit data, all at the same time. There are a couple acronyms we need to be familiar with. The first one is PD, which stands for Power Device, and this one essentially describes the end clients or end devices that are powered via PoE. And then on the other hand, we have the PSE, or the power sourcing equipment, which is the piece of hardware or equipment that will power PoE devices. So in this case, this will be our PoE switches. PoE comes in two flavors, PoE and PoE Plus. According to the standard, a PoE compliant PD device or power device will require up to 12.95 watts of power to operate. And for PoE Plus, the PD will require up to 25.5 watts to operate. However, on the PSE side, the specification tells us that each port must be capable of supplying up to 15.4 watts on the PoE side or 30 watts on the PoE Plus side. This is to account for loss in the cable or in the medium, in such a way that if we provide, for example, 15.4 watts on the PSE side, we at least guarantee that after loss we provide at least 12.95 watts to power the PoE compliant devices properly. And the same goes for PoE Plus as well. Now, the PoE and PoE Plus are actually technology names. However, the standard is defined or described in 802.3 in the specification 802.3 AF and 802.3 AT respectively. Okay, an easy way to remember is that AF, F stands for 15. So if we round it up, okay, that tells us that AF is actually PoE, 15 watts. Or for the AT specification, the T stands for 30. Okay, so we can use those. We can use that relationship to associate the technologies to the particular amount of watts that each specification provides. In terms of devices, most commonly you're going to see the PoE devices that we are going to encounter in a network are the IP phones, okay, which in the majority of the cases are PoE devices, unless we're talking about a very high-end video conferencing unit that needs more power. In that case, it will be PoE Plus. We also have IP cameras. The same goes for IP cameras. The majority of them are PoE. And for access points, some of them are PoE, but if we're talking about the higher-end access points for 802.11ac and high-density environments, we're going to be talking about 3x3 or 4x4 access points, and those require PoE Plus. So essentially, these are the type of devices that we're going to be plugging into our PoE switches. Now, in terms of PoE budgeting, so if you need to buy a 24-port switch, most modern switches, they come in two flavors. The 24-port ones, they come either as PoE and non-PoE. A 24-port PoE switch will have a PoE budget of 370 watts, most likely. Okay, so that's the power budget that we have to share, that we have available to share amongst all the different ports on the switch. Now, if the switch is a PoE Plus or 802.3AT compliant switch, it means that every single port is capable of providing PoE Plus or 30 watts per port. And obviously, they are capable of providing 15.4 watts as well. If we do the math here, 15.4 times 24, that gives us 370 watts. Okay, so for a 24 port PoE switch with a power budget of 370 watts, we're going to have a total of 24 PoE ports, or we can have a maximum of 12 PoE plus ports. Okay, and obviously anything in between, as long as we don't exceed the overall power budget. Now on the 48 port side, we have an extra option. Most vendors will have three different flavors. They will have a non-PoE 48 port switch, a low power PoE switch, okay, that essentially provides 370 watts of PoE budget, and then a full power PoE switch that will give you most likely 740 watts, so double the amount. For a low power 48 port switch with a power budget of 370, essentially we already did the math for that. You're gonna get out of the 48 ports, you can have 24 ports for PoE or 12 ports for PoE plus. However, for the full power switches that have a power budget of 740 watts, if we do the math, 15.4 times 48, that gives us 740 watts. So for a 48 port switch, full PoE, full power, we have a total of 48 PoE ports, so we can basically provide PoE on every single port. Or if we're going to provide PoE plus only, we can have up to 24 ports. All right, and obviously anything in between, as long as we don't exceed the power budget of 740 watts. All right, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.